Thank you and welcome to the School Leadership Team School Improvement Plan and Teacher Empowerment Plan. For the sake of this meeting being recorded, as we discussed before, I will mute all participants. However, I will send out in question or Q&A for those of you who still have questions after our SIT meeting. Again, thank you for joining me today and sharing in this journey to improve our school through the School Empowerment Action Plan. JMSS's vision is that we believe that everyone has a right to be treated with dignity and respect. We believe in collective efficacy of all students, and that all students can learn and have the ability to learn, and that teachers have the abilities to teach all students. We believe the campus of James Martin Middle School is a professional learning community. Our professional learning community philosophy is based on two questions. What is in the best interest of our students? How does it affect student achievement? Number 4, in our professional learning community, we believe instructional time should be protected. We pledge to maintain the integrity of the school and the school day. We also pledge to do this by adhering to all the rules, regulations, duties, responsibilities, and requirements that will protect our instructional time. Then lastly, we believe that we are acting as a change agent in a professional learning community, which is James Martin Middle School. My reason for conducting this meeting and also for collaborating with School Improvement Team to complete an action plan was based on a gap analysis and needs assessment that I conducted at the beginning of November 2021. When the teacher empowerment survey was sent out to all of the teachers that were surveyed, 6th grade team, we found that majority of our indicators or majority of the survey questions were at least 50% gap, reflected a 50% gap. So for question number 1, teachers has input on professional development offerings at the school. We showed a negative gap of 61%. Teacher play a role in the development of the school improvement plan, a gap of 53%. Teachers are supported through the evaluation process and feedback processes. We see a plus of 66%. Teachers has the input in the development and or management of the school budget. And we see that we have a 48% deficit. And then teacher play a role in setting the school-wide policy. We have a 50% deficit or gap. And then the teacher plays a role in the development of the school improvement plan, and we have a deficit of 63%. So because of the deficits that we found in our gap analysis or need assessment and gap analysis, the purpose of this action plan is to close those gaps so that we can adhere to the vision statement of James Martin Middle School. And that is that teachers feel empowered to make a difference and improve the school community. Also to build and maintain a collective efficacy across the board for James Martin Middle School. The documentation for the identified needs. When we look at the needs of our school and we look at the InduStar standards for teacher empowerment for James Martin Middle School, we see that we have several standards that we are not meeting when it comes to teacher empowerment. These standards were pulled from InduStar, which is our the standard of expectations and actions according to the state of North Carolina and Charlotte-Mecklenburg school systems. So we said that we would adhere to IndyStar indicators. And when we look at IndyStar indicators and match those indicators with the survey questions, we realize that we are not meeting the needs of teacher empowerment in terms of the standards and indicators and the surveyed questions. So on this slide, I indicated the indicators or standards that matched the survey questions in terms of where we were falling short and what we would need to do in order to meet the needs of our teachers. Because of time, I will not read all of the surveys, the standards. However, the standards are aligned on this slide in addition to the questions. Each question has its corresponding standard that we are supposed to follow and live up to as a district. So for question number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we have several standards that support the fact that we needed to create an action plan to support our teachers in school improvement and empowerment. The goals that lie behind this action plan in reference to the standard, the short-term goals that we have were, there are 2 short-term goals for this action plan. The first short-term goal is 100% involvement in monthly committee meetings. And the second short-term goal is for the committee members to create a specific event or activity that represents their commitment to meet each month. The objectives in order to meet our short-term goals are: participants will meet these goals by meeting and participating in monthly committee meetings and creating actions or events that support the school improvement plan as it relates to specific committee and initiatives. A long-term goal that we have for the empowerment plan is through monthly committee and committee membership involvement. Participants will select 100% favorable responses in the 2022 teacher empowerment survey, And in the responses of our spring survey, we hope that we will have 100% of favorable responses. The objective to meeting this goal is through the monthly education and leadership committee involvement. Teachers will actualize and contribute to school improvement efforts by creating, implementing, and monitoring events and activities to support teacher improvement and school improvement through teacher leadership efforts. If you will hold your questions until the end, or you can put them in the Q&A. I do see that Mr. Evans, you do have a question, but if you will allow me to go through and so that we can finish this up. And I'm also recording this presentation. Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, the teacher empowerment timeline is as follows, and some of your questions I may answer along the way through the presentation. The committee sign up would be for participants to sign up for the committees would be between December the 21st and January 22nd. So we can start sending out the literature to the committees and giving people an opportunity to look at the different committees that they to join. And then by January 22nd, people will have an idea of the committees they would like to join. No, you do not have to join more than one committee, but we do ask that everyone joins at least one committee. Between January and May of 2020, the SIT committee meetings will take place once a month on the 3rd Wednesdays of each month. We ask that when you are having your committee meetings, that you complete the the template that we discussed and said. And so that as soon as you complete the template, you will turn that in after your meeting and you can just share it with your team lead. Members of the administrative team would also share the principal memo notes each month with the staff during our monthly staff meeting, and that's Wednesdays, and it can also be in a weekly newsletter. Yes, to submit to the learning community. So when I say submit to the learning community, I do mean our administrative team, our local administrative team. Committee meetings, team meetings, agendas posted to IndyStar. And so we know that when we create any type of change based on the standards that we talked about earlier, our IndyStar indicators, we would put those changes in the IndyStar platform to show our stakeholders, especially district leaders and members, that we are approaching the needs that we have in our school. So we would do the same thing that our SIT is consistently doing now, or SIT is doing at this time when we have our SIT or school improvement team meetings. That's how we would notate the same information the same way, in addition to the plans that we have thus far. No, we would not have to change. We're not going to do two plans at once. I do know that there is another plan going on at this time, but this is a proposal for the school improvement, teacher empowerment for school improvement that I've been working on through my task with Gardner Webb. Yes. Okay, thank you. Teacher empowerment survey in the spring administration would be the second survey would be spring 2022. And then if you look here, this timeline is subject to change. However, this is the timeline that we decided would be a feasible timeline for creating the action plan at this time. Thank you. Members of the administrative team are responsible for providing leadership policy and instructional information from the principal memos, a communication that is shared weekly by the district. And so that's when Mr. Bernard or Mr. Evans and myself, anyone on the admin team can pull the principal memos. And then we make sure that that information is shared with the staff, because that changes weekly. And as that changes, we can notify the members of our team through weekly communication. The teachers and the support staff are responsible for joining, attending, and contributing to their committee at least once per once per month. I don't know why I have once per month. Teachers and support staff are responsible for developing activities and carrying out events planned, and carrying out events are planned in collaboration with committee members. District specialists are responsible for attending meetings remotely if possible to provide input, cohesiveness, resources, and awareness to district policies and procedures. Parents are encouraged to join committees if possible to show support and to provide input from their family's perspective. Brenda Paul and Buchek all agreed to come in and just drop in. So I am working with people in the district, and these are just our community specialists, especially on the instructional side. And they said that when we do have our meetings, so please invite them, and they would love to come out to show support, and also to offer a hand in terms of creating the committees. And then this is an example of the committees that we are proposing: a family and community partnership, literacy, math, science, safe and orderly schools, which would also be social and emotional learning, the SLT, the safety plan, and social activities events. When we do meet for the first time, I do ask that that each committee create an agenda, select a chairperson, could be a parent if parents decide they can come, and it can also, that would be, that could be very helpful because with parents being involved, the higher the position that you give them, the more, in some cases, I believe that that deepens and enhances their relationship to the committee and gives them a sense of responsibility to make sure that they're there. Okay, then we have a co-chair, a recorder, a timekeeper, team members. We ask that we have principals. Well, okay, so when I say principal, but if a member of the administrative team can please meet, I mean, join a committee, that would be helpful. Instructional staff, support staff, assistants, and the different stakeholders that would like to be involved we are asking to please join. And then these are some last minute housekeepings that the committee chairperson would be responsible for, but in actuality, everyone is responsible for the meeting agenda, making sure that notes are discussed, making sure everything is kept running, making sure that we focus on topic, that we do not get too far offhand. No, the meeting is only, the committee meetings can only be from between 30 minutes to 45 minutes because that's normally the third Wednesday staff meeting, and that's what I'm proposing that we do the committee meetings, simply because we don't have staff meeting each time anyway. So that would be, that time frame would be appropriate, and plus the SID committee stated that they will be in agreement with that. And then here we have an agenda or a template of the agenda that would be used to complete the committee meetings and also help people to stay focused. Knowing that you have to complete this agenda, also knowing that with every time we meet, we are looking to create some type of event to participate in throughout the month, or something that we can do to impact our school in a positive way. With those that are on the math, ELA, science, social studies, those instructional teams, creating strategies to share with that team is great, especially according to the high yields, Marzano's high yield instructional strategies that we discussed in our SID meeting. Those strategies are also good strategies to share and to continue in during instruction. As we are going through our walkthroughs, we can look for those strategies being implemented through the walkthroughs as well. Thank you. All right. This concludes our meeting, and this also includes the recording of the presentation. However, I will use this presentation to share with Mr. Bernard and anyone else that you feel that could benefit from the presentation. If they have any questions, concerns, or comments, please email me and ask, or complete the Q&A. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate your patience. Thank you.